You know a video that fucked me up the other day? I saw a video where like it was an interview. Apparently this is, a lot of people have this, with someone who doesn't have an internal monologue.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking wish I could turn mine off. I never fucking shut the fuck up.
Like, I cannot comprehend how your mind functions without like an inner voice.
Yeah, so like, if you're sitting there not talking to anyone, are you just in complete silence?
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
must be.
Like,
You ever think some of these people are just making this shit up?
conspiracy.
There's gotta be some people making this shit up.
Or what if they do actually have an inner voice, but it's just real, like the volume's down to like 1, and they just can't hear it?
That's not how it works.
That's not, yeah.
You never know.
Your fucking monologue doesn't have a volume slide.
You never know.
Yeah.
Apparently, some people don't have one, which is even weirder, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't, like, they were talking about reading, right? They were talking about how they read stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, I saw this video and it was like, they were explaining that they recognize the shape of the words.
I do that.
And then with the shape of the words, there's a certain flow to the shape that they recognize and they internalize and shit like that.
I do that.
You do that?
Yeah.
So you don't have an inner voice either.
Well, no, I do. I don't read the words. I read the shape.
Yeah, but do you hear the words when you read?
Like when you read something,
Who the
fuck hears the words?
I do.
What do you mean
What the fuck? You don't hear? You don't hear words?
So if I'm looking at this, right? I'm looking at this. I'm not saying it out loud, but in my head, I'm saying out loud, strong zero.
Strong zero.
I mean, I guess sometimes I would, but not all the time. I mean, now you're telling me to do it, I'm doing it, but I don't think I would normally do that.
Really?
I think I would just clock it as strong zero. But I wouldn't say it in my head.
You can't hear it in
But
your
when
head.
you're like reading a sentence, like when you like, let's say you're reading the shittiest YouTube comment.
Oh
of all time.
yeah. I'll read it out in my head. Yeah.
Like, okay, here's another question. When you're reading a really stupid YouTube comment or a really stupid tweet, do you have like a voice in your head that like reads it out for you?
Hell yeah, I do.
Or do you read out the sentence and then you find it funny?
I just read it in my own voice.
No, I read it
in your own
I
voice.
read it in a dumb voice.
Yeah.
I'm like, this video was so stupid. I hated it. Unsubscribe, dislike.
I think with some of these things, right? Like, you know how like people they go on forums like, I saw this video game one time. And this happened. Can you guys help me find it? And then it turns out it never existed.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, I know that game. I think this shit happens with
Mandela
these.
effect?
Yeah. No, it's different. That's different.
Really?
That's where people misremember something.
Yeah.
But like everyone just fabricates a game and they all kind of have very sparse memories and collective experiences. I think this is what happens sometimes with this stuff. I think people hear pieces of something and they're like, oh, I have that too. And obviously there's no way we can scientifically prove or be like, yes, you have it or not. We're just going on the word of people, saying it.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. If someone found out they could get a little bit of attention from making something up, I think some people would do it. Let's be real. Come on. People make shit up. Let's not pretend that we don't live in a world where people don't make shit up. For no reason. Like there's people who are like, oh yes, my body is magnetic. I live next to mine. It makes magnetic. And they put like spoons on their nose and they're like, what's wrong with you? Is he not fucking, you never seen those videos?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You never seen those videos?
You've lost me, man.
You never seen those videos of people who claim to be magnetic?
No.
What?
No.
You've seen this, right? What? This is like a whole thing.
This is a you thing.
No.
I think this is what we call
you
the
absolutely
Mandela effect.
Stop fucking gaslighting me. This is not a me thing. This is a thing that people do where they claim to be magnetic and they just stick the spoons and the forks on their body.
What the fuck are you talking about?
This
sounds like the weirdest fever dream of my life.
I genuinely can't believe you've never heard of it.
No, because that's so
Look at this.
easy to disprove.
Yeah.
People are dumb as fuck. Bro, this is so common.
would
I
they do
can't
that?
I can't believe you. I genuinely am in shock you've never heard of
you
this.
fall into this rabbit hole?
This has been on like mainstream TV for like 20 or 30 years.
I've never heard of this.
This is so like people fake it all the fucking time.
I know people fake it all the fucking time, but like, at
it's
least
always
have the decency to like fake something that is either really difficult to prove or just straight up impossible.
Or maybe they just
People want
genuinely
attention.
believe it.
People want attention. They make shit up all the time.
Oh yeah, of
How
course.
can you
but-
know the difference between someone who's faking it and someone who genuinely believes it and is just dumb?
I believe it's the same thing.
No.
Don't know what to tell you, man.
Some of these people do like performances or shows. Like, look, I'll stick things to my body. It turns out I'm just sweaty. And it's like, no,
There's double-sided tape on this thing.
Yeah.
just shit, innit? It's fucking awful.
I mean, that it's a difference between like a scam and someone who, is really believing in what they are doing, but is just scientifically wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Do you
if
think flat earthers actually believe it?
Yeah, they do. 100% they do.
I'd like to hope not. But,
they absolutely do.
I've seen what they've said, and
they absolutely do, right? So it's not like a nefarious kind of like.
There's some smart people
it's not
as
a troll.
well.
Yeah, it's not a troll.
There's some smart people who believe in that shit, and it's like sad because it's like they just get in this mindset, and then we're really bad at being when we believe something being proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Just as humans in general.
No.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a lot of that at play, and it sucks because again you see some of these like really smart dudes who are really put together who are like, I'm going to disprove it. And they do a science experiment that proves that the earth is round, obviously, because it fucking is.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, such a smart person who could put together an experiment that would actually prove if the earth was flat or not. And they disprove themselves and they still don't believe it. That's weird. But also I don't know the mental chemistry that's going on there where you get faced with evidence and then you're like, no. Because if someone shows me that I'm wrong on something like scientifically, I'd be like, all right.
It happens all the time. I
Like if someone shows me
I'm like,
that food poisoning is really an illness, I'll believe them.
I mean,
but I ain't seen nothing.
It happens all the time in trash taste. You tell me pizza crusts are good, I'm like, no, you're wrong. And like, that's like my truth.
Well, that's subjective. But like,
that's subjective, yeah.
It's crazy to me that like, I don't know. It's crazy to me that like, I guess we talked a bit about it and other stuff. Like people like believe historical events didn't happen. It's like we have so much proof. It's like, you think someone faked it, bro? Okay. I don't know. It's weird.
Well,
I don't want to get too deep into that.
What if the evidence is faked?
Oh my God. Which it sometimes is. There's a great...
Because we all know NASA faked the moon landing.
There's a great Veritasium video where there have actually been many conspiracy theories that were proven correct. Like there are situations where sometimes it is valid to believe a conspiracy theory, and then that's part of the issue is that you can never really rule stuff out.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It's like once one conspiracy theory that has made its way around the world has, at the end of it all, proven to be true, then that validates every other conspiracy theory. To be like, see, this one was right, and that was labeled as a conspiracy theory, but which means that our theory, which you guys call conspiracy theories, has a leg up in this conversation because this one was proven true. When in reality, it's just one anomaly.
Also, it's just nice just to let your imagination run wild. Sometimes reality is just boring, and it's just like like a lot of the times the boring explanation is the right one. Maybe
I think it's satisfying to feel like you figured something out that not everyone else did. I was in an Uber in LA because of course I was.
Of course.
And, there was a guy, and being a white guy, I feel like I attract like a lot of the crazy like white.
Where are you going with this?
Feel way more comfortable opening up to me about the crazy, and I also don't judge because I'm like I actually want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Because I find it very amusing. so this guy starts going on about something. He's like, "Oh, you from England? That's nice. That's nice." He's like, "Yeah, well," because I mentioned, England. Sorry, from the UK. He's like, "Yeah, he's from the UK." He's like, "Oh, that's nice. That's nice." Like, the US is going to be a lot better when the war's over. I'm like, yeah, man. I guess the whole Ukraine thing's pretty bad right now, huh? It's not going too well. He's like, no. The war happened in the US. I was like, there's a war happening in the US? He's like, well, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't know where you lie. And I'm like, well, I'm always interested to learn and to be corrected. Because I just want to hear what he has to say. So I'm trying to like tell him that like,
you're entertaining him.
Yeah, man, I get you. He's like, well, he basically went on like the whole nanomachines rant. Like nanomachines, son. Instead of being like the inside government, yada, 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 and was like telling me about it. And he was like, the global warming thing, I think it's just a huge scam. And I go, well, yeah, but why did you buy a Tesla then? He's like, well, the features are just great. I was like, yeah, but I mean, surely you wouldn't get the electric. And he's like, well, and I felt like I was losing him. So I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But he's just going off and on and on and on. And he seemed like a really nice guy initially and like well put together. And he started going off about cabals in the government. And I was like,
just
what
miseducated.
Yeah.
Well, no, he seemed like a rather intelligent guy, but he kept going on about vibrations and shit. And I was like, what happened to you?